Okay, now, from the beginning.
Greetings, hello, and welcome to the Dotcast. This is the podcast for wedding photographers, creatives, and business owners, brought to you by 9 Dots. I'm Andy Gaines, and we are super excited to have you here today. Here at the Dotcast, we dive deep into the world of wedding photography, creativity, and entrepreneurship. So whether you're an experienced photographer or someone just starting out on your journey, 9 Dots is here to help you on the way. From our online community, through our educational videos, awards, and in-person events like the 9 Dots Gathering, for almost 10 years now, 9 Dots has been dedicated to making you the best photographers and business owners you can be. You can find more about 9 Dots, the membership, and all the benefits of that, as well as our community and all our in-person events, down at the links in the description below. The 9 Dots community embraces and values a diverse range of all talents, experiences, and stories from the world of wedding photography. So whatever your background, experience level, or style, the 9 Dots community is the perfect place to grow and learn together. So check out the links in the description, and without further ado, let's get on with our episode.
It's good, yeah. We're going to be busy, I think, this year, and we've got some good ones booked in. I think we've got room for maybe like a handful more, but like we don't like to do a million just because of like editing. So I think we've got like, I think our max would be like 25 maybe. That's like the goal maybe.
I mean, the max would be like 30, but then we'd be a bit behind.
Yeah, it depends on the wedding though, doesn't it, always? Yeah. So it's like at the moment we're good, you know, we've got plenty.
And what we've got, like 23, I think, something like that.
And then,
so we've got enough weddings.
Yeah.
We're totally fine.
Maybe a few more could sneak in. You know, like 2-3
more is what we're hoping for.
Hopefully they'll be in like, you know, October, November, December.
Yeah.
That's the time.
Dream.
They're the ones I want.
Last summer is like, we were looking through the calendar, like we got like a nice inquiry today, we're just looking through and it's just like, no, like summer, for some reason, it's just like every week.
Yeah.
And then like in October, it just ends. And then we have like one a month,
They're
which
all
is quite nice.
Squished, you know, like years ago, they used to be nicely spread out, whereas now there is definitely like a season, I think.
Yeah, so we've got one this month, one next month, then full on.
Yeah.
Until
like October, November, and then ghost town.
We've stupidly booked like 2 holidays in August, so we've ripped a massive hole in that.
It's the summer holiday thing, though, isn't it?
It's tricky.
You know, you don't want to be like mad busy during the summer holidays and not see your kid at all.
And it's our kid's last summer holiday before he goes to high school, so. You know, we feel like
got to enjoy it
obligated to make it nice.
Yeah.
Because then his life's over once he goes to high school, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you've got a year, I think, maybe, or 2 years. But then once it's GCSEs, then the life's over.
Yeah.
Then it's
like, gets real. This is it.
Yeah. I'm well nervous about my daughter going. Well, she's got 1 more year left, and then it's high school.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God, the time has gone so quick. Like, she's still a baby, to me, and it's just like it's crazy that you're going to go off on your own. You're going to walk to school on your own, and then
exactly. And I always think, like, I remember like my first day at high school. You know, like they are the days you really remember. And like before that, I was like, you remember bits of primary school, but it's not. You know, but it's like they're sort of not fully. Obviously, they're not fully grown, but it's like, you know, you're so grown now. You can remember all these days. It's like important stuff, and it's like terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm yeah. That
You've got another year
me.
though. That's good.
Yeah, 1 more year, but then it's like, it's.
I think it helps. Like they get to a point where they're over it. They're like ready. You know, like Albert. He's like, you know, he's excited. He can't wait to go to high school and it be big. You know, like he loves the idea of it because he's in this really tiny little village primary school. Okay. So the idea of like a huge building and like loads of stuff going on, like he's excited for that, and that makes me a bit less nervous. You know, like cool, go on then. If you want to go, you can go. It's fine. But,
I
live
an
right
older
one as well, though. I think.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like he's older in his year, so he's ready to go. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Because we live right next to the high school she's probably going to go to.
Oh, that's cool.
I've seen the kids come out of that high school, and as well, I'm a bit like, I don't know, it's not like all of them, and it is just the minority that I see.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know, like I'm just like, but all the high school, and it's going to be a really good high school because obviously your high school, the neighbours and like the neighbourhood and whatever. Every kid from the school she's at pretty much goes to this high school anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like. Yeah, it's just, it terrifies me seeing like some of those older kids. And the ones that I see are like the 15, 16-year-olds. I don't really see the 13-year-olds.
They're terrifying. Yeah. But it's like, who are they going with? It's like the other kids, and we have no control over that. Like, who are you going to meet? Are they going to be nice? Are you going to find a nice little crew, you know? Oh.
Yeah. But I'm finding it with like weddings as well. It's so like compact. Like, I have
Yeah.
one wedding in April and then nothing until mid-May. And then it's super busy until October. I've got one wedding. No, October's actually pretty busy. And then it's just dead again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And I'm
People
getting
aren't doing
inquiries
the
more and more
weddings.
for like this
Yeah.
summer still.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
So
give
much
me
later
October,
than
November,
normal.
and I'm like, shoot it. But
Yeah.
give me or like August the 9th, for example. That was just a day that I keep getting inquiries for. It's just like,
Yeah, you could have booked it a million times. It's
Yeah.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you'd think, like, you know, cost of living and everything, you know, people are more on a budget, that they'd go for, like, cheaper winter weddings, but not so far. Maybe they will, but we'll get inquiries in, like,
I remember
September.
we always used to have like 3 or 4 weddings in December.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, like, you know, maybe going back
Yeah.
7, 8 years.
Christmassy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now
We
it's
had
like
loads.
barely. I think we might have one this year,
We have one on New Year's Eve.
which is good. I always think, like, if you can have one every month, that's like the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah.
pay the
It's-
bills.
Yeah.
Yes,
just to
I know,
get you
two
through.
a month for me, 24 weddings a year, done.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, then our finances would be in order. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have to like hibernate between like November
Yeah.
and March and be like, mate, my bank account needs to be pretty healthy.
Exactly.
And you'd be
Like-
so on top of editing. You
Yeah.
wouldn't be stressed because, like, when you have back-to-back weddings, you're just like, oh my god, like I'm now like instantly, you know,
Yeah.
weeks behind.
Yes, exactly. And like now, like I have nothing to edit. I am just like completely watching Netflix and just unemployed.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it'll kick in and I'll be like, oh God, I've forgotten like how to be speedy, and takes you ages to get like into it again.
Well, luckily, our first wedding, the one this month, is photography, so I edit that.
Yeah.
Laura doesn't, you know.
Oh, you still
know.
do? You're still doing photos then?
yeah,
Not
so
not
we-
loads,
yeah.
but like,
do the odd one.
yeah, like maybe 5 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't turn them away. It's just like, you know, we still have our photography website running, and we still have, you know, we have our video website
Yeah.
running. We don't like really mix
So
the
it's
two.
Yeah.
really just a fluke when people book photos. And like whenever we do a photo wedding, it's like, oh my God, I love this. Why don't we do this more?
I was just
Yeah,
about
I
to
still
say, like,
love
when
it.
it comes to the editing as well, aren't you like, man, I'm done in a day. Like, I come
I'm
back,
done,
ingest
yeah.
some cards, Carl, do some previews.
Like I'm dancing
Stick it
through a
in
field,
AI.
you know. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, colour it, edit
Yeah.
it,
It's
send
so
it out.
nice.
Oh,
I mean, it
It's
is,
so nice.
I'm not going to lie, it is 1,000 times easier than like
Yeah.
video editing, right? It has to be. You're dealing with
I'm
like,
not sure it's
sound and all sorts.
easier, but it's definitely quicker.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm only saying
Yeah.
this
I
think
because of my
there's more
friends
pressure.
complain.
Yeah.
Video-
More
Videography
pressure
friends
on
with moan.
each.
Yeah.
There's more pressure on each picture, I think.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, like when you're editing a picture,
True.
it has to be perfect. When
Yeah.
you're editing video, because, you know, there's lots of different things and they have to match. Like, sometimes you're just like, oh, that's not, this clip doesn't look colour-wise as good as it could be, but it has to go with the one that comes after it. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's more,
Little tweaks.
not like half-arsing it, but like, you know, like you can be a little bit less perfectionist just to keep the,
Yeah.
you know, the flow of it going.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, yeah, like pictures, you're just like, oh, I don't like that light switch on the wall. You know, like you make work for yourself,
Oh,
don't
it's
you?
so,
Yeah.
it's so fun
It's just
though.
like, why are you deleting the light switch? That's their house. They know there's a
Yeah.
light switch.
Yeah.
But it has to go, doesn't it?
It's
you know?
so annoying. But how nice is that? It's like when you're editing video and you're like, oh, that fire thing behind, you know, like you want to get rid of so much and you just can't. It's
Yeah,
so
the
annoying.
only thing you can do in video really is just crop in a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I think people want their pictures quicker though. That's a big thing. You know, like editing video, people will just wait forever. You know, like if you told them 6 months, they're like, cool. You know,
As
like,
I
Yeah.
mean, we find, because we'd send them like a little Instagram film, like the day after or 2 days after,
Yeah.
and then they've seen something that it kind of like
so
scratches
chilled.
that itch.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they've got footage, they
Yeah.
know we didn't mess it up,
Yeah.
and then they kind of like, they're off your back then.
I mean, like,
they might email you and ask like, when's it going to be?
Yeah.
If you were to let it go 6 months, I'm sure we'd get
Yeah.
angry emails, but
yeah.
like, yeah, we had it
Like
for
we
3
say
months.
like 12 weeks is like the max, and that's when we're like really, really busy. Like hopefully we get them done in like 8. But like pictures, I feel like people, especially now, because you can do them really quickly and you can do like quite a few previews like quite quickly, especially if you're doing AI. People expect it, don't they? They're like, oh, can I see my pictures? When are my pictures ready? You know, like they want
Yeah.
them the next week, don't
But
they?
people were always like that. When we were
Yeah.
doing like only photography, like in our first
Yeah.
6, 7 years, we do like a little like on the day slideshow for them. You know, like at every wedding, just on our laptop,
Yeah.
just so they could see some pictures like after the meal. Like
Yeah.
people
When they're
love
super
that.
keen.
That booked us loads of weddings.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
people have always wanted to see it. Like
Yeah, speed
then,
is king.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like with video, people are a bit more forgiving when it comes to the timeline and stuff like that. But like, it's quite good that you're sending, I don't know, how long are the Instagram reels? Like 30 seconds or a minute or something like that?
Yeah,
like a minute.
They're like a minute.
But like, you just pick some nice music and then you put in, how many clips
It's
is it?
not
like
a
10
lot of
clips?
work.
It's not as much work as you like think it is, just to send out a little preview, because we're not pretending there's a story, there's no
Exactly.
there's no audio that's been synced to it yet, unless there was something amazing. Sometimes you do.
I'm not looking at the whole wedding, I'm just going in and picking out like cool bits that I'm like, cool, there's a bit of confetti, there's a little portrait, there's a getting a makeup done, that just a couple of things, whacking some generic piano music with it and putting it up. It's like really speedy, but
and the quicker you get it up, the more likes it gets. It's just like as simple as that.
I mean, it's the best free marketing tool around, in my opinion. Like, I'm the same with previews, like I just pick like a couple of getting ready photos, a couple of from ceremony, a couple of the exit, a couple of portraits. That's it. Like it ends up being 30, 40 photos, because like mine are Indian weddings, so it's a bit longer, but it's not hard to find the right moment, and sometimes they're not even the best moments. I'm not even choosing the best moments because
because you've not looked at them all.
But it's good enough for them, and
they just love seeing something really quick. And they'll show all their friends and family. Like, it is the best marketing.
The collab feature on Insta is crazy good.
I was just gonna say,
I love that you can collab with like more people now as well. Like, it used to be just like one person, and now you can just like get them all in there. Get the caterer sharing it.
I really pick and choose. Like, depends. Like, before the wedding, if I see like, okay, I'd like to see who actually does accept collabs. Like, I just like stalk their Insta feeds, or who's a bit more, social, rather than the caterer might not be as social, but but
then like the makeup artist might share everything. Like tag them in there.
Yeah.
And I think it's less embarrassing now. When that first came out, it was like, oh God, if they don't accept the collab, like that's so embarrassing. Whereas now
we're used to rejection now, so it's, But the worst thing is when they accept the collab
and then take it away.
And you just like spend the whole day like thinking, why? Like, shit,
really?
I hate it. I'm getting sued.
I do that though, to be fair. Like, so funnily enough, like, if a videographer collabs with me on, like, they do a preview, then I'll let it run there for a month, and then after that, I feel like they've got enough out of it. And
after a month it's fine.
That's
like,
it. You don't want it on your feed.
If it's like they accept it and then an hour later they take it away, you're like, oh my God, what have people said to them?
That is usually the couple, isn't it? That's the couple when they'll accept it. They don't know what it means. And then
exactly.
They're like, God, it's on my feed now, and
they want to write their own video about it, which makes sense. When it
generally
happens,
is the couple.
When it first happens, you're like,
oh God, they actually hate it now.
But
sensitive.
They haven't hated it
Too
yet.
sensitive.
We all are.
Yeah.
Like, you want instant feedback. It's like because you spent all this time with them. They love you. You love them. Like, you feel like you're their best mate when you leave the wedding. Then you send them these amazing images because you worked at from like 12 midnight to like 2 a.m. and you get it the next day, and then you're like, okay, like, you want the feedback straight. Like it or something like that. Like, it can be nerve-wracking. But so hopefully, you send it to them at the right time, and they're still in that like post-wedding reception haze, and they love it and they gush over it.
If it's like the next day, or the and they're still in that bubble, or they're like, even if they're on their honeymoon, like they're still in that zone, aren't they? Of like excitement.
When they're in that bubble, isn't it? I think like.
Totally.
They're just they love it so much more if it's like within the wedding like moment itself.
Way more emotional about it.
It's really good that you guys do previews, because honestly, like, a lot of like wedding videographers that I work with, they're like, it's just too much effort, Rahul, and this and the other. But I'm like, I always tell them, I'm like, you could just take the one camera, like the gimbal, for example, whatever's on your gimbal, just ingest it and then just pick like a few clips, and they'll be so happy.
It could just be one shot. It doesn't need to be even anything.
If they had a cool confetti exit, just do that.
Anything.
Post that. 10 seconds of confetti. They'll love it.
People love anything. Maybe it is because of coming from photography though, and we're used to that. We already knew that like previews are like key, and people want to see stuff.
I mean, do you know of like a lot of videographers that do previews and stuff like that?
I don't really. I suppose it isn't that common, to be honest.
No, is it?
I think a lot of people wait and they'll post like little bits of the actual film that they've made, like months later.
Yeah.
But just doing it straight after the wedding, maybe that is quite unusual. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like it makes sense to me to just whack something up there. Also, we don't have to like plan our social media. I'm not having to ever use my brain and be like, oh, can you remember a wedding that was good? Can you remember a bit? You know, like, and going and making special films for Instagram. Like, our Instagram just takes care of itself in the summer. It's just like once a week, there's a new film up there.
It's like this time of year, you are just like, oh, I need to put something on Instagram, and then you're going back and you're like, what?
You're like, oh, I can't remember.
Speech was lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is tricky. Like I actually have a notes thing, so then I just write down like a wedding, idea. Just because like I know, like you said, my Instagram takes care of itself as well with previews all through the summer. But right now it's like tricky. Like actually, I haven't posted anything in like a week, and I'm like, maybe I should. You know, just like my stories are full of like personal stuff, but nothing like actually.
Yeah, you need to throw the odd actual thing up. To like feed the beast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially because right now people are still. I mean, if they're still looking for August, I'm sure they're still going to be looking for like October, November, December. And of course
they are. Yeah, we need to exist. Yeah, this is it. I think we decided really early on not to do like stills. A lot of videographers will just do like stills from their films.
Okay,
that's what they'll do on their Insta. And I think we were just like, well, no, that's a picture. That's not even what we do. Like, why would we do that? It's like a shitter picture, you know?
And like photographers, like certainly at that time, we'd picked up that a lot of them were annoyed at videographers posting.
Well, it is annoying, isn't it?
Because if they go home and they just get a still ready, like straight away before the photographers manage to post anything, and it's just like they think like the bride and groom's friends and family think that's one of the pictures from the day. And if it's a bit shitter than a picture would be,
it's a weird.
They think the photographer was a bit shitter than they were.
It's just not good, is it? It's like a photographer shooting a wedding, though, coming away and then just posting a little film that they made on their phone and not posting any of the pictures. It is random, isn't it?
It is random, but funny enough, I have seen a couple of photographers shoot video of like a portrait and post that instead of even photos, and I'm like, and I've always. Yeah, and I've always found that odd. And then I asked my videographer friends that have worked with this like photographer and a couple other photographers, I'm like, don't you find that like a bit disrespectful? Because it's not the same as like BTS and like it's not the same as like phone. It's like literally you can see it looks really beautiful. It looks like the videographer's done it, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like it's not.
It's odd. Yeah, I don't get it.
I find it odd.
I don't think videographers are that sensitive, though. To be honest,
I don't mind that so much.
I don't think many videographers would mind. But I just think it is odd. I mean, like if you're the photographer, you want to show the best things that you've done. Really,
I found like videographers really quite a welcoming bunch.
Yeah,
you know, like how photography seemed like it used to be when we first got started. Everyone just wants to make friends.
Yeah.
There isn't that really strong sense of everyone's feeling really competitive and like, desperate for weddings, which kind of crept into, like, it seemed to, for us, for photography, it seems like there's much less.
It's less saturated, isn't it, really?
Oh, it's definitely less saturated.
That's a big part of it.
Everyone's still in that, kind of like, you want to do video too? That's cool. And then they'll help you out. It's nice.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think a lot of photographers that we know certainly have got to that point where they're like, no, like, they're trying to pull up the drawbridge and just like, no, that's, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done sharing.
I mean, I still find like the photography community quite welcoming, but maybe that's because I'm biased and I'm like in 9 dots, so I see
exactly.
Well, 9 dots is like really,
but I can also see. I've seen the bigger picture as well. Like when that guy, I don't know, that Google Gate or whatever it was called.
Where he started doing the
reviews and stuff like that. So then I saw
like what on earth?
And like and it's not him. There's too many people that were taken down for it to be just him. Wasn't
it?
So
it's like, and that's the thing. And like, but then you see the other communities, and because I'm not really in any of those groups. But then I was just like, I went to have a look and I joined them for this purpose. Then I could see other people being just as like evil, and then you're like, what? This is crazy. Like,
evil.
Why would they do that? Evil,
Why?
I don't know what the word should be, but do you know what I mean? Like disrespectful, or it was a bit evil, to be fair.
Though it is a bit evil.
Well, I know not so gone about like community over competition.
Yeah,
and it's just like it
should be like
there's a big chunk of people in like I suppose in all communities who just like all online communities just want to bring people down. They just like feel like really righteous about whatever nonsense they think, and they're just like have a go at everyone. It's really weird.
Especially if they're panicking though, because it is a weird time, you know, like the cost of living thing. There are more photographers and maybe less. I don't know if there are less weddings, but maybe there's less weddings. It feels like a lot of people feel that way, you know, that they're just panicking and like, no, I need them all.
I'm not sure that it feels like there are as many weddings, but it certainly feels like the price, you know, that photographers can charge is like really depressed for some reason. Like we were charging £2,000 for wedding photography 16, 17 years ago. Yeah. And people still aim like for 2,000, certainly in like the North, as if that's like something to, you know, get to attain. Like, you know, people...
I think, for a lot of years it was going up and up, wasn't it? And then it obviously just hit a ceiling.
Yeah. What do you remember? I forgot what they were called. Like there was a wedding photography kind of school up in the Lake Districts.
Yeah.
And they were churning out photographers, and they were saying like start at £2,000. Like should be your starting price.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for someone that's never shot a wedding before, it just it's bizarre how like people don't seem to be able to get above that. In the kind of like the general market. I know there are people that are charging, you know, loads more.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, in the...
a sea of people in the middle.
I don't want to say like mid-range because it seems disrespectful, but in like, you know, like the general market.
No, I know what you mean. It is the middle market, to be fair. I mean, the middle market has a fair bit of range in pricing, I would say, like anywhere from 1,500 to £2,500. I would still class that as like the middle market. But like, you like from where I am, like I am hearing like all these like editorial like photographers that have only been doing it for like a year or two. Some of them are on like $4 or $5,000, $6,000. Like, and they're basically like still trying to focus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy, you know.
Still trying to focus.
Yeah. Like,
well,
this is what I'm hearing. So it's like,
I've heard this, because I work with photographers, which is like quite a novelty now.
True, yeah.
And like, I hear from like people who've employed some of these, you know, like people I haven't heard of, but people who are like, you know, like
well-known,
like you described, well, not necessarily well-known, but like burst onto the scene, you know, taking all these cool pictures, saying they're charging $4 or $5,000.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like they've employed them as second shooters, and they're like, the raw files are the worst files I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
You know, like not like there were like 3 usable pictures out of 2,000 or something like that. And then like, I also, you know, when, you know, photographers work together, you know, and I'm sat with them during the meal, they have like, you know, unvarnished conversation with each other, and like loads of them are struggling, you know, like I've only got 3 for this year and stuff like that. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like from the outside, everything looks like full success.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is like faking it till you make it.
Yeah. And being the right thing,
now.
You know, the thing that's in fashion at the time, you know, like there's a lot to be said for that, isn't there?
I mean, there's a lot that are very successful. I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm not saying like anytime someone says it, but
no, of course,
But you know, there's definitely a lot that are, not.
I did a wedding like 2 years ago, and I did the Indian wedding, and they had a photographer do the civil wedding, and that photographer charged 450 quid at that time, and then now she is like $6,000, and she does like workshops, star shoots, like puts it all together and stuff like that, and it's like wow, like within I started, my first wedding was at 1950, like the first wedding I did, because the guy that sort of mentored me and I worked for was just like, you have to charge this much. So I was just like, are you sure? Like, I've never done it on my own. I shit my pants and everything. But I was just like, you know, like they booked me and I did it. But since then, my price has only gone up by 1,500. All right, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of doubled, nearly, right, as like my base rate. But this person's gone from 400 to like $5,500.
That's mad.
In like 2 years, like just exploded onto the scene. You know, because a lot of the, I guess, editorial like style, the new ones that are on right now, like photographers, they're very good at marketing, you know, they're so on it. Like they're good at curation of what they're showing, all that kind of stuff. So they really make you believe, like, I'd love to see a full gallery by some of them. Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day,
you look through their Insta and you're like, these are cool. Fair enough. That, you know,
Absolutely. I think I think there's real value in like when you are like in demand, like putting your price up then.
Yeah, make the most of it.
Yeah.
We decided to do things differently. Like when we started doing video, we were like, we're just going to go for it. We're just going to put the price up.
Yeah,
and we're always scared to do it with photography because like years ago we were quite kind of like popular as photographers.
You were killing it, man. You were killing it.
We were like 3-4 inquiries a day. It was insane.
It's the same thing, though, just being the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, we were like flavour of the month.
Yeah.
We were like 100% on trends, so we were getting, like shitloads of inquiries.
But we didn't keep putting our prices up. We were like, no, I think we got stuck at like 3. We were just like, nah, that's loads of money. That'll do.
Yeah.
Like, let's just leave it at that.
I think we only put up to 3 once the inquiries had started to dip, once, because a lot of people, come in and we're doing like similar styles and stuff. So it was, we kind of stood out less.
Yeah.
Whereas the moment to put your prices up is like when you're
snowed under with demand.
Yeah.
But then with video we were like 500 quid at first. Well, we did free ones, then we were 500 quid, then we were like, let's just be like 1,000, then we were like
But
2.
we were putting it up like every 3 or 4 weddings. So we were just like, well, no, like I think we're better than that now. And then like we were 1, then we were 2, then we were 3.
It was just like
and then we were
mad
just
leaps.
like 5.
Yeah.
And then like because everything's a bit quieter now, we haven't touched it since we went up.
Just
to
leave it.
We're like,
Panic.
Yeah, which is cool.
But that's worked into. Well, we have 2 options as well. When we went up to 5, we were like, but you can have Pete for 4.
Yeah.
But like that got us in with like a few planners up in Scotland, and
around, you get to a different market.
It's weird. Like as soon as you're like, in some ways, like expensive enough, like planners will recommend you then.
Yeah.
Whereas we never got to that stage with photography, even though we were working with planners, we were still like 2.5, and they're like, we're not recommending these plans.
True.
So it's
so true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with pricing though, and thinking I don't want to go into this mystical other market. I like my people that book me. And, this like high-end...
We have the safety net of like, well, if we overprice ourselves for video, we can go back to photography.
Yeah, we'll be
it's like,
doing
we've
like...
got another business
Yeah.
that we can, kind of go back to without it being like super embarrassing. Because we've always had prices on our website.
Yeah.
So if they vanish, we're probably charging a tenner. So.
Yeah.
Towards, doing like 500 quid weddings.
Yeah.
I find it funny that like it is like... A lot of people think that the high-end market, like I'm not in the high-end market, but I would say like the middle high like thing.
Yeah,
but
and you
people
probably do like the odd one,
Yeah, you do the odd one.
Yeah.
And people have always said, oh, the high-end market, like everyone's like really arsey or they're really like this and that. But I found them actually to be lovely. Like I think it just depends on the relationship you have. And even though like I work with some planners in that sort of area, I still get booked by the couple, so I still have that relationship with them, always have a WhatsApp group with them, so I can have the banter and whatever chat with them, so it doesn't have to be just... I think like some people that work just with the planner and have no conversation with the couple, then
that's probably weird,
you are probably seen as like just
we've only done that like once or twice, and I really didn't like.
I think it's really
not having contact with the bride and groom, because they were lovely, but I was it's like a step behind.
Like you're not allowed to talk to them. Yeah. I think it's really important that the couple choose you, and know what you do as well. It's weird. It'd be weird for a planner to choose you.
Yeah.
Because that like relationship with a couple like is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
And just so you know that they like what you do, like that's a good
what
start.
you do.
Yeah.
Because if you just entirely booked through a planner and then like the morning of, they're just want a morning of posed video, and you're just like, did you look at any of that stuff?
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell? Like,
Disaster. Yeah.
Why did you guys switch then from like photo to video when you're doing so well, and then you're just like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to stop and just do video?
It was quite random. Like we'd had Albert. So we'd had Albert, and we used to, obviously like everyone, we'd just be like filming him on our phones and stuff, and then we'd take like proper pictures of him, and we'd never look at the pictures. We'd always be looking like, oh my god, look at this shit video, like
and
that.
like hearing his laugh.
Yeah.
And like we
we'd done a wedding. It was that, and then the other catalyst was we did a wedding where we'd photographed it, and the videographer, who was lovely, after the wedding, the couple were like, "Look at our wedding video, we love it." And we watched it and we were like, this is nothing like this wedding. It was like really serious and like loads of like, you know, like slow venue shots.
Cinematic, like too cinematic.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah, but like our memory of this wedding was like, you know, it was one of those high energy weddings.
Yeah.
Everyone's laughing. It was just like the dream wedding for us.
Like joyful.
Yeah.
And there was loads of shots in this film of people just like stood around, you know, like looking a bit bored.
And it's like, how's this person like found all the boring moments?
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we were
And like,
thinking,
it was shot well, like composition and all that.
Yeah.
Just like
just
The culling, the curation.
it just sucked the joy out of the day. And then we were
and the
like,
Schindler's List music as
Yeah.
well. You know, like why?
Yeah.
Schindler's List,
Why?
yeah,
Why have you got depressing music?
really like an in memoriam type video.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, you know, like maybe we should try and make a film because we're really opinionated about it. And then like the fact that this couple had sent it to us and loved it, we were like, imagine if it was really good. Imagine how much they would love this. Like if it was like joyful. So we were like, let's have a go.
We're
And
getting
then
a bit ahead of ourselves, you know.
Yeah. And we were like, well, we had like loads of time off. It was like, you know, like a big winter gap.
Yeah, it was like, I think we had 2 or 3 months off, which you, in your mind, is like a year.
I'm really like, I don't like being like unemployed. Like I get, my brain just suddenly is like, right, cool, I need to learn something else. Like,
Yeah, I'm the same.
yeah, I just can't sit still. So it was like, right, well, let's like look into it. We started just like scouring YouTube for like tutorials about video. We bought some stuff. We got like monopods and like a little like glide cam thing.
Microphones.
We were just playing with it, you know, going out playing, like filming random stuff, like see if we could use it. And we were like, well, let's like...
The glide cam that got thrown in the bin after the first wedding.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in the world to use, like absolutely shit. But then we were like, well, we need to go to a wedding and like we'll see if we actually even like it, because maybe it's horrible.
Yeah.
The other thing as well was that at that time, like Pinterest had like burst onto the scene as like a thing that people were using when they were planning their wedding. So we'd get a lot of, for photo weddings, like Pinterest boards, you know, like we want this picture.
We want this sunset picture in the mountains of California. If you can do that at this, you know, city
Registry
centre
office.
wedding.
Yeah.
Or registry office.
I
You're
don't
like,
know if you do you remember that time where like every picture you saw was like there was like a pony and a bride wearing like a flower crown. It was like that era of like really, really posy sunset. And we were just getting sick of it. You know, you're just like, oh my God, every wedding is like destroying my soul. Like when you're like doing natural pictures and that's all you're interested in, getting loads of really posy shit that you have to do and like shot lists of like really lame things. That
we hate a flower crown. I just think I've done some nice weddings with flower crowns.
Yeah.
But just
you know.
like,
I know, but it's all,
leave me
everyone,
alone.
that's the problem with trends, right? Like everyone wants the same thing. And it's just like, why do you want to be like the other wedding that was like last week and the one same wedding I shot 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago? And
it gets so boring. That's why we always loved like natural reportage stuff, because it's like, well, that is what's different every week. Like I'm not...
Yeah, weddings about the people, guys.
If I was just posing people every week, I think I would have lost interest like years ago, my God.
Yeah.
So that seemed like another really good idea to try and film a wedding, because like from what we'd seen working with videographers, they just get left alone. Like no one's asking them to do anything. That sounds cool. Like we should try that. And it's true. You know, like the first few weddings, it was like, oh my God, they're doing group shots. And we're just wandering around, like looking for shit to film. Like this is ace.
Yeah, group shot time. You're like, see you later, bye.
Yeah, we just loved it. Like straight away, just the fact that you could just be creative and just wander around. And like, there's stressful bits of it, you know, like worrying about like audio and like having sort of steady shots of like the ceremony and stuff. But like once you get over that, the rest of the day is like so much more chill.
I can just go outside and film trees, Rahul.
Yeah.
I mean, just You're like, oh, right, nothing's happening. Go film a flower. I mean, I wouldn't include that picture in the gallery because it has no sense whatsoever. But then you shot a bit of the tree, like, you know, like it goes. Yeah.
It
just
can all be out of
B-roll
focus
or something, right?
It can all be out of focus.
No one cares if stuff's in focus. Like people's expressions, like it's so much easier to film someone because they'll look good for like a split second of it, and even if they look a bit mad around it, it's like
filming the dance floor. It just makes sense.
Oh my
God. Like when you cut back, I've got like 1,000 pictures of the dance floor, 20 of which are like nice expressions. Like it all changes so quickly and they move so fast. So it's like just point your camera at them, like get them roughly in focus. That's a shot.
It's so much easier. Yeah, there were loads of things that straight away we were like, yes, this is cool. I love this.
Yeah. So even though our first film was a bit pants, you've seen it now, haven't you?
I don't know. I can't remember. No.
Have you not watched it? Because it's in Lawson Film School.
You need to watch it. We've put it in there.
Oh yeah. You did. In the course, I had skipped ahead and some stuff. So
yeah.
I will check it.
Watch that. It's entertaining.
Yeah. You
can see our stuff with the glide cam. Really shows why.
Oh, God.
Like why we hate gimbals as well now as well. It's just like I think when everyone first starts, you're just like, oh, movement. I've got to move the camera. Cinema.
I think we thought we needed loads of equipment. You know, because you see videographers and they've all got like all these toys and stuff, and it's just like, oh, we need all this stuff, and it's like, actually, you really don't need anything. Especially now, you can just like handhold, so good, like like you've already got all the stuff now. You don't need a monopod. You know, there's loads of stuff that we bought that we don't use.
Well, like gimbals as well. Like I see a lot of videographers using a gimbal like all day, and like I can't.
My arm.
Well, your arm for one, but like other than the confetti and like if they're walking towards you like out the ceremony and the photographer's going to do the same, like I need to be with them. Like I never use a gimbal because I can't compose a shot like, on something that's moving constantly. Like I think like a photographer. You know, it's just like got to compose it. It's got to be right. I want it exactly what I see. That's why I don't want. You know, like to not.
I do know some control. I know some videographers that like use a gimbal, but it's literally just to hold the camera steady. It's because they're not like confident in themselves, so they have it composed, but they don't let everything happen in front of the camera. But they have it on a gimbal, but there's no movement on the gimbal. It's just
I mean, that's good for them because I can't do it. If I am holding a gimbal, like I'm going to move at some point. You know, ruin my shot. I know it. I've done it.
It's just more natural. It's more natural when you're a photographer coming into video to just like handhold and have it as you would, you know, just keep it super simple.
I think it's all because we like learnt roughly the same time, like with documentary, like style of photography of like, you know, you're waiting for the moment. So you like focus, recompose, you're sitting there waiting for the moment to happen. And I guess it's the same like with video. Like you would wait for, it's funny enough, actually, at Coda, someone had asked you a question, like, how do you see moments? It's like you can see that you predict the future. And I can't remember your answer, but it's basically like it comes. Well, it doesn't come from photography. I don't know. I don't want to get
it does.
shot down by videographers going, no, it does. But it's like because you learn photography and you learn like storytelling in that way and focus, recompose, wait patiently, and like you know you're using peripherals and you know that this bridesmaid might about to crack a joke with the bride or whatever. So and then when that happens, then you're like, do you know what I mean? So that's
it's
how
exactly
you've like,
the same.
You've done exactly the same and brought it to video.
Exactly.
So when that person was asking a question, I was just like, because when they were photographers, they were really good at doing exactly the same thing, but you've never seen probably their work as like photographers.
It is, and it's just like a natural thing. And the more you're doing it, when you're photographing, it just becomes like innate, doesn't it? Where you're just waiting for that moment, and you're not predicting the future, but you are. It is like peripheral and just having awareness of like what could happen, and just being in the right spot.
Just anticipating the moments. It's not like we can all do it. I don't think it's like a special skill. It's just one that, you know, unless you kind of practice it a little bit.
Then,
exactly. It's the experience. It's like, I get the same sometimes when I'm doing like slideshows or like people are looking at my work and they're like, how did you know that this person was going to laugh? And it's just like, I'm listening to the speeches. Like, I take a couple of the person giving the speech, because after that, unless they pull out like, I don't know, some sort of toilet roll or some sort of gimmick or whatever, then I run back to them.
But about
afterwards,
the reactions.
but to me, it's literally like they're dead to me, and it's just like I want to know who they're talking about, and everyone that they're talking about is where my camera is pointed.
Exactly.
You know? And I'm waiting for that reaction, and once I get that reaction, it's just like, okay, that's the gold for me. But I think
that's it. That's the gold.
Right?
That's the fun of it.
Through the letterbox.
That's the fun, isn't it? Of like documentary, like you know, like getting that gold and being like, yes, got that, exactly what I wanted. You know, like the hunt for that. Yeah, and that's what like keeps you wanting to do this job.
My motivation. Like at many points of a wedding, it's just like I need to find the joy. I need to capture it. Like that's my entire job. And like we had a meeting with someone the other day, and they were like, "Oh, you're going to find it, you know, a struggle to get any nice natural moments of my nan." It's just like
your ears prick up.
You're like,
exactly. Challenge accepted.
I will nail that.
That's exciting. That's what we want.
Yeah. And I'm also like, when people are like, how do you know that's going to happen? It's like, there's a lot of like survivorship bias. It's just like, well, you're seeing the shot where it did happen.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like,
so true. There's
like,
a lot of times
you are like watching and you're just like, oh, what are you doing? You were supposed to laugh then, you didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then like no one ever sees that shot. So it didn't happen. You never mess up because people only see like your success.
That's it. You just got to keep trying.
Yeah. Like you try enough times, you get enough for a film or enough for a gallery, then
It's just important to look beyond the obvious. Like you say, oh, someone's giving a speech, take a picture of them giving a speech. Like, that's so boring. Like, look around, like there's stuff everywhere else.
And like the wedding that Laura's just finished editing, like I was just looking over her shoulder while she was doing it. And like there was a lovely shot that I remember getting and being like really proud of.
Yeah.
And it's one that I try and get like whenever you can. It's just like it was after the father of the bride's speech. They were doing speeches between quarters. But like the bride and her dad were just having a lovely little moment, you know, like holding hands, huddled together, and like framed by two people on the other side of the table. It's just it's just like such a lovely little intimate moment.
But it's even better
because I remember going to that and just be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. They're having a cute moment and I've got the perfect framing for it. And
I think it's even better because he was one of those like secret dads, you know, that like really cared, but in a really secret way.
Oh, right.
You know?
I thought it was like stern looking on the exterior, basically, but inside,
and just really like, I'm not going to cry, you know, like I'm fine with all of this, you know, but just like finding the little secret bits, you know, that's not showtime. Like that's lovely. That's lovely about this job.
For speeches,
the most exciting thing.
Yeah, for speeches, for me, my best photos are after the speech. Like I like to see where they're going. I see so many other photographers and video people that I work with, like just, speeches are done, cameras off. Yeah, when's the starters coming or something like that. But I'm like, I love the 2-3 minutes afterwards because sometimes the bride or groom will go up to their father, whoever, or like their friends, and they like hug them on the dance floor, and they have like all this like moments, and it's just like that's where I'm literally in like burst mode, just like taking everything I can.
I love that for pictures, but like with video, I do find I have to get rid of the like my tripods because because you know the caterers like burst out, don't they? Like, all of a sudden, and you're just like I need to like throw the mic here, and then so I kind of like maybe like I'd love that bit as well. Those 3 minutes, so I have to kind of like look for the slightly more subtle moments that happen a bit after. I do like to prowl like after I put my
I'm similar like that with photos because I guess like you'll know that from the feedback because you'll be like, oh, I can't believe you got this moment on video and I can't believe you got that. And it's just like, that's exactly the feedback I want from my couples. Like to say that I can't believe you got that. And it's just like, yes, because I'm not looking for the obvious. I want the other subtleties and the different things that happen when the parents or whoever you're shooting think that you're not photographing anymore because that's when they let themselves go.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be like totally themselves. That's where the magic is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you guys like find the transition easy then from photo to video? I mean, obviously there's the learning curve, but
definitely learning curve. It's like every one of I'd say the first like 5 weddings where it's just like, oh, it got a lot better. You know, mostly just things like, oh, never do that again. You know, things we tried and we're just like, that is so shit. Or like,
it is like getting rid of the things you spent time over thinking, oh, this is great. And then like you've got more time the next one because you're not doing that crap anymore.
Yeah, get rid of that.
So,
Simplify.
But the more, up until till the 5th, 6th, 7th wedding, it's just like oh, so everything we were doing in pictures, we'll just do
stick
that.
To that. Yeah.
So it's just like we came to a point where it's just like these are just moving pictures.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to like do any movement. Anything like that.
Nothing
if anything,
jazzy.
it's just like in my head, just like stay the fuck still. Remember the last time you did that and it was rubbish. Laura was shouting at you. Like still feel the urge. If I film a cake, I'm just like, I'll sway a little bit to the side, just get a.
Just don't.
It's so boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, but if it's just like, if I just frame the cake nicely, get the background view, get some twinkly lights
in it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to have some movement, like Laura said, so like the candles moving or, like some kind of like shadows moving across it,
but not
if people
you.
are walking near it.
Yeah.
But like, camera movement is like, it is hard. It is a massive skill.
Yeah.
And I don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should learn it.
I've seen the YouTube videos for it because I've been
coffee.
like looking at video for ages and like there's like stances and stuff like that people are standing in to like pan and it's just like mate, I can just about hold the camera steady with my shaky hands for photos.
Exactly.
So there's literally no way I'm doing that for
so
video.
hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get it right.
Watching films, like they generally only move like like if it's like what's it like motivated movement. So like if someone walks across the frame, say if they want to pan from one person that's one side of the room to one person that's here, like they'll have like a person like walk, a separate person walk through the room and the camera tracks them briefly and then lands on that the other person. Like there's got to be a reason for the movement, otherwise it's just like it's the camera movement.
Yeah.
You no longer like watching like something unfold in front of you. You like being shown something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your brain has understood why the camera has moved, basically.
Yeah.
Rather than for no reason.
Back in the day when the videographers were really rubbish and used those massive cameras and they do like crash zooms to like the church spire. Yeah. And you're like, whoa, you've been taken on a weird trip by someone. You're not taking it in. You're not observing it on your screen. You're just like, you're aware.
I think that was the biggest thing there, wasn't it? Learning curve wise.
Yeah.
Stop doing stuff like that.
Stop doing jazzy shit.
Keep still. It's so hard to keep still. And to film for long enough. We ended up with loads of clips that were like 3 seconds long, and just like not quite enough. So it's like getting used to that.
Where you're like, you've nailed the moment and that's plenty for a picture, but you need a touch longer.
Also, just not having your finger over the record button like you would a shutter button. So, there were a lot of times in the beginning where, something exciting would happen, and it's just like a default thing that your finger will press the button. So there was a lot of there was a lot of stopping recording as something will happen. So just getting your finger away from that button,
Or the camera would have a little movement, I've got a little tick,
get it,
at the best bit as well.
Yeah. So there definitely was that learning curve. But as far as the business side of it went, it could not have gone better. It was really, we had loads of inquiries quite early because we were supposed to do 5 for free. We were like, 5's a good test, whether we like it or not. We did 7 in the end, just randomly.
Yeah, accidentally.
Yeah. So we were just to photographer friends, do you know anyone, who's getting married, who's not having video? Can we come? And then it was really once we put a few out there and had a website, it just sort of took off itself, didn't it?
Yeah. It took off massively.
It was quite easy in the from the start. It surprised us, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we entered TWIA with our 5. I think it was I can't remember how many we'd done at this point, but we were let's enter TWIA and just get the shortlisted badge. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'll make us seem official.
If we could set up this website, put a couple of these films on and put shortlisted, that would be cool. And then we won our region with that. Wow. And we were what the hell? What? So that helped a lot, I think.
Yeah, just it was really surreal.
Yeah, getting the word out there, that was good. That sort of established us, at the beginning. That was good. Yeah. And we went on a workshop. So we met some videographers because that was our other fear, that they would hate us, you know, because we were like the enemy. Yeah. Which is like not true, like madness, you know, like people were so nice. But yeah, you know, like you have that imposter syndrome, and like really, I'd say for a good 5 years, it was like, we are not videographers, and I feel weird saying that. You know, like I'm still a photographer. Like if I fill in a form now, like I don't know what you put, but I still like default go to photographer. Like it feels weird to say it. So we were definitely like imposter syndrome, like around other videographers, thinking they'd be talking about tech and like stuff we had no idea about, you know?
Yeah.
But no, not true. Like, obviously they're just normal people.
It's so weird. Like when I think that's me. That is me. It's so weird. Sorry. When I fill out forms, I still put graphic designer, even though I've been doing it for like 14 years. God,
funny.
Yeah, I still default to graphic designer because I just think like if I put wedding photographer, they'll just ask too many questions. Where a graphic designer just seems like a defined role. Like, do you know what I mean? No one takes like wedding photographers or videographers like seriously, like on a job spec form, right? They're like, is that a hobby or whatever? So it's like, this graphic designer, just you get like asked less questions.
It sounds like a real job.
Yeah. I definitely put that on the form every time I enter the States. For a while, but you know that is definitely the thing that I put down. I'm like, still graphic designer.
Good shout.
How do you feel about like all of these like hybrid stuff that's going on now? You know, like a lot of people, a lot of photographers, like, you know, wanting to shoot hybrid and stuff like that.
Hey there, wedding photographers and filmmakers. If you're looking to level up your business and craft in a big way, then the 9dots membership could be the exact secret sauce that you've been looking for. With the 9dots membership, you'll get continual development through hundreds of hours of courses, tutorials from leading wedding photographers and filmmakers, business coaching to help make your businesses efficient and build your dream lifestyle, and the support of an incredible community who just get what it's like to be a wedding professional. Don't just take my word for it. Check out what Francis, one of our 9dots members, had to say.
Without a doubt, joining 9dots was the best investment for my photography business. It's not only helped with developing my skills as a photographer and the business side, but I've also developed great friendships from the community, which I absolutely cherish. I was able to go from part-time to a full-time photographer, and I have 9dots to largely thank for this. One of the best things about photography is that we can always be learning more and pushing ourselves to create beautiful images, and 9dots continuously provides content to help do this.
You can think of 9dots membership as being an AAA pass into the businesses and minds of the leading wedding photographers and filmmakers from around the world. You can join that community and access all the benefits of membership today from just £19 a month. Visit the link in the description below or check out 9-dots.co to find out more and join now. And with that, let's get back to the episode.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think that like there's a big market for it. I don't think everyone wants a full-on wedding video, you know, and like that'll suit a lot of couples that want like a low-key kind of vibe and they don't want loads of cameras around, and like I get it. I think there definitely is a market for that. Obviously, like our couples, like they want a film, you know, and they want a full film and they want to watch all their speeches, and it's like a different. I think it's different enough that it doesn't feel like it's like someone stealing what we do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like things like I'm like on the fence because like I like it for people like trying video.
I encourage anyone to like try video.
I worry that people will take on too much. So if they're if you're gonna do 50 weddings a year, like a lot of people are doing, and you're gonna do pictures and video at the same time,
that's crazy.
Like, I worry that you're gonna be one of those people that we come up on all the groups. It's like, this person's not delivered footage in 12 months, and they've had a nervous breakdown and things like that. Like, I worry about that. There's a lot of work involved, unless you kind of half-arse it. Like a lot of people that are doing the hybrid are like, oh, I'm not going to mic people up for the speeches or the ceremony. It's just like, well, you're missing like one of the main reasons why people want video. And like, you're gonna like once they listen back to the audio for the speeches and it's just like shit, they're gonna be like, oh, I don't know.
I guess like it's on the hybrid photographer or whatever to like actually educate their clients though in that sense, because if they say, like I'm all for video. Like I have a whole blog post of like why you should have a videographer, and it basically is it's about my dad, because when he like got dementia, like he started losing his voice, and like and to this day now I can't actually remember like what he sounded like in the sense of like in like normal words, but I can still remember what he was like for a long part of like when he was ill, and which was just making sounds. And it's just like, so I have this like blog post, and it's just like, if you want a videographer, like this is like I've said this a lot on my podcast, but like I'm really good at selling video because of that story. Like I tell people and they're like, oh, you know what? And I'm always encourage people as well, like, you know, you want the longer film, even though the short film is like trendy. It's like the long film is just like what your kids and other people will still watch, because they're going to see way more of your mom or dad or whoever, you know, that's important, rather than this like trendy TikTok clip that has gone viral. That's great, but you're not going to, you know. Yeah.
They're in this wedding bubble and they're not in that point of their life, you know, so it's important to bring them that wisdom, you know, and be like, you know, this is why it's super, super important. Yeah. Like I lost my mum as well to dementia, and like, you know, like capturing memories is like, that is what it's all about. Yeah. And voices, and, you know, it's more, and that again, like that's another reason why, you know, it's not for us about necessarily the bride and groom. You know, like it's like most of our films are the other people that were there, because that's who they're going to want to see. Maybe not now, but like, you know, in like 10, 20 years, or showing their kids or their grandkids, you know, like showing all those people and their like, you know, family dynamic and like little moments between people. Like that's where the magic's going to be, you know, not them posing or looking cool, you know.
Not something that, you know, like like you said, like some super dated like TikTok trends thing. Like, you know, we don't. But I get their kids aren't going to get that. They're going to be like, that's so lame, you know.
You like, I almost turn into like their parent. It's just like, look, I know best about you and your photography. Okay, I know you want this.
I know.
No, I think like if you want this in 20 years, like have that, but like have that as well as maybe.
I think that's more the approach we take. It's like, cool. We'll shoot anything. We're not going to tell you something shit like to your face. Like we'll do the posy stuff, but like I'll make sure that I have your grandma, you know, and that we've got all these things that you don't even know yet are going to be magical. You know, we had an email the other day from someone whose wedding we did in COVID times, and she was saying like her that was like the last time her grandma was herself, because she again had dementia, and now she's, you know, she's like a different person, you know, and like how special it is, and she's like, and it's amazing, it's like you knew, and you know, there's shots of her at the end of the film, you know, it ends with a shot of grandma or whatever, and it's like, no, we didn't know she was going to get dementia, but we know she's not going to be there forever, and that this is going to be special, you know. So it's like just trying to like be aware, and it's so depressing, isn't it?
I know. I mean, I think we tried to.
But we do assume that everyone's going to die.
Everyone's going to die.
I mean, but there's no assumption there. Everyone will die. So
exactly. And like, you know, it's nice for you to have something to remember all these people.
And like a wedding is the only time that in most people's life that they have all family and friends together. Like since our wedding, we've never had all those people together again.
Nobody,
and that was,
especially on film,
20 years ago.
Like nobody has videos of like, you know, just like daily life. Like that's not that common. So just like it's a good excuse to have a videographer follow you around, and like why not document their family a bit rather than just the fact that they got married. Like whatever, people do that every day.
That's
you know,
kind of like what I like. My pet hate whenever we're kind of like judging awards, it's like you're watching a video and you're like, yeah, it's nice. Is anyone at this wedding? You know?
You're
just like, come the fuck on. Like, I don't need to see the bride and groom ever again. Ever again. I've seen enough. I don't care about them anymore. You know, I want to, like, tell me why I should care about them. Does anyone care about them? Like, they need to prove themselves to me. Like,
No, it's like that with the editorial thing as well. So it's like you see all this like fancy like plate settings and decor, and it's just like, all right, there's 20 plate settings. Why there's only 2 people in every single one of these photos? Like, where's everyone else? Like,
it's like a styled shoot, really. It's weird, isn't it?
And I know it's curation and what they're trying to sell, and like this like black tie thing or whatever, but it's just, I don't know. I guess like
bullshit.
everyone's
It's
different,
bullshit,
but yeah,
Rahul.
it is bullshit.
Yeah. Are we
Because if I was looking for
told?
someone, I'm like, where's the feeling? Where's like other people?
Where's the
I wanna see other
feeling?
people, like
Yeah.
captured
Yeah.
in this whole thing.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah,
this
it's like,
amazing
there's a
day.
nice looking suit. I can look for better pictures in a magazine if I want of someone
Yeah.
selling that actual suit. Like, I don't care about the groom wearing it.
Yeah.
I care. Like, I want to see the groom's mum giving him a hug. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
want
But
to see.
I think it is curation. This is what I always assume when I see them. I'm like, yeah, these 10 pictures, there's no one in them. You know, it's just a bride and groom and a plate. But
Yeah.
like, surely they took the groom, being hugged by his mum. They'll have all those pictures, but they're just not
You
showing
say that
them.
because, like, I'm sure we've all been in this position where, like, you've idolized a photographer, or and then you've seen a full gallery, and you just like you see the rest of the pictures, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
You're like-
I've had the actually opposite reaction once, and that was Jeff Newsom. Do you remember Jeff Newsom?
Yes.
Right, and he used to
Yeah,
do
we
all
did
this
his
arty
course
stuff
once,
with
yeah.
the light,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
arty stuff with the lights and all this stuff, right?
Really cool.
And then I did his workshop, and then he gives like a picture book with all the images.
Yeah.
And like, so it's a full wedding, and oh my god, every fucking image was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, the color, the tones, and
Yeah.
like just absolutely everything. And I was just like, this guy just
Bang
curates
on.
for this certain couple. But then when
Yeah.
you like see the full gallery, I was blown away. I was just
He
like,
was so cool. He was
was,
so like
yeah.
cool and creative, and did so many cool. Like we did all that. I remember trying to do the lights.
yeah,
and
the flashes behind.
Yeah.
yeah, the light
So
trails.
cool.
But then he did that spinny thing, like that he was like selling his art pieces.
Yeah,
and,
that was like
Yeah.
the ball
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. Like,
all the orb. Yeah.
yeah. He was
so
like
cool.
phenomenal.
I saw someone the other day doing a little tutorial on how to do, like the lights behind, and I was just like, oh my god, it's literally like 20 years ago. What's
know.
Yeah, yeah.
happening?
It's all come back now. It's all come back.
What you do is you just go
Yeah.
behind him, you do this with your phone.
But all the comments, it just blew my mind. All the comments, as if this person had just invented this idea. I was
And
just
yet
like,
someone was going on to us, when you do like drag the shutter on the dance floor, zoom the
Yeah,
flash
that's back
in.
now. That's back.
That's back. And
back.
people are telling me about it as if this is an amazing innovation. It's like, I was doing that 18 years ago. What the hell are you talking about?
It's
Like,
fun though.
And then like brides and grooms like, there's a streak across my face, so we all stopped doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You all stop doing it in 2-3 years' time. Even though it is cool, I still love it. Yeah.
Yeah. It has its place now and again. Like,
yeah.
I still like it.
Like,
yeah.
It's normally when it's like a weak dance floor and there's not much happening.
A week dance
Yeah,
floor,
when-
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it's
Make
just
it
like, I need
a
to fill the
club.
frame. So like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
just make it look better than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's
It is
funny. Like
amazing
all of
all
these
these
things are
things
coming
do.
around again.
Yeah, everything comes back. That's it.
TikTok is where it's at for all of that stuff though. Like learning how to like, I saw someone with like, I use manual flash and stuff like this and the reason behind it. And someone else was showing HSS and it's like 30,000 comments as if they've just figured out this like
Amazing.
button. And it's
Yeah.
like, and it's crazy. And you're just like,
Oh,
It's like,
HSS
yeah.
and all the strobist stuff back in the day as well, overpowering daylight. And you...
yeah. I fell for that trap as well. I bought this like Pro Photo B1 Air or B2 Air, or I can't remember what it was. And I was just like, I had this idea for these like different type of portraits to stand out and stuff. I used it at 2 weddings and I was just like selling it. Like literally while the value is still there, I'm just selling it right now.
Yeah.
Not for me.
I mean, we had a go at that. It was nice to get like a blue sky, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You
see,
know, like,
this is the thing, and like people, like I've had a lot of people moaning about the editorial trend and stuff, and it's just like, you know what, like trends do come and go, and I totally support anyone like trying anything. Like, just see if you like it, like
I think
give it a
that the
go.
problem is now that because everything is like so curated to sell to couples and to other photographers, you're like, because everything is just like, 10 images max, like really on Instagram. Whereas like back in the day, it was like people would do like blog posts, and it was like 50 to 100 pictures from a wedding. And I got like loads of inspiration from that because you could see like the whole day and like the standard like start to finish like had to be high for you to be obsessed with someone.
Yeah.
Whereas now it just seems like everyone's so hyper focused on Yeah, like the trending portraits. Because that's what gets the the inquiries in.
Show me the other bit. Show me the speeches.
I struggle to be inspired by that, but I'm sure like a lot of these photographers are like great, but I just can't be arsed looking through Instagram at the moment because like I'm just not. I'm not seeing something that gets me going.
Yeah. No, I know. I totally know. I mean, I mute literally all photographers and stuff like that on my feed.
Too much.
Barring the ones that like interest me, and or I'm friends with, but. I think that's one of the things when I'm like, if I get an inquiry, I always like have this thing of like, here's like 3 full galleries, like all different weddings, like destination, a same-sex one, Indian one, and like a Jewish one, like which are the main things that I get. And like, so it's like 4. And I'm like, you can have a look through. And then once I get them on the phone, I always tell them, I'm like, look, even if you go for someone else, I please urge you to like at least have a look at their full gallery to make sure. Because I'm like, I could take 10 amazing photos. I could take 10 amazing photos on my iPhone and put it on Instagram and be like, I'm a wedding photographer now. The technology is so good that you can't miss.
Yeah.
But then need to be vigilant.
Just do their due diligence, right? Like, check out everyone and make sure that. I think a lot of people
probably don't think of that though. Like, no, I should see a full gallery. They just get totally bamboozled by a cool website or like a really good Insta with loads of followers. They're like, they must be good. Look how many followers they've got.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they could be good. I'm not saying everyone's like,
a lot of them are going to be amazing. Yeah. But like you say, it is easy to curate, just to have like one picture from every wedding that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, are you seeing like trends or anything like that in video then? Like, do you get that? I don't know. Like,
yeah, the slow shutter speed is a thing, isn't it? Like black and white, slow shutter speed.
Which is kind of in keeping with that like editorial vibe.
Yeah. I don't hate it. It does have like a kind of playful vibe to it.
Yeah.
Laura's probably going to end up doing it. She loves a trend.
I will try anything,
Yeah, I think it's fun to try it though. It's refreshing.
Yeah. It's like a fun part of the job though, isn't it? Like, you just want to do the same shit all the time. Like, you do need to keep moving, especially like, like it's been 20 years. Like if I was doing the same shit I was doing 20 years ago, I'd be so bored.
Yeah.
You've got to like try stuff.
Yeah. I've already tried it at a wedding. I don't know why I'm pointing.
I think it's cool. But it needs to be black and white. Should all our films be black and white?
I don't like. I'm not a massive fan of that. Yeah.
I know.
It's weird, like mixing color and black and white in video. Like it jars me.
Yeah.
It's like seeing a wedding album where people do like, like they mix and match like 4 photos of color and then 2 are black and white on the page.
Maybe that's why it bothers me as well.
I don't like that. I need the whole
just
spread
a bit jarring.
to be like black and white, which would mean the whole film in this case would need to be.
I know, but then can I make a whole film in black and white? I mean, I could, but also, we've sold people what we normally do, and then they'd get this black and white film and be like, why is it black and white? Or should I just be doing like random little Instagrams in black and white just to test it?
It would suit that.
Yeah, maybe the random little Instagrams in black and white.
Maybe I should do that.
Idea.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. But but less trends, I think, in video.
I don't know. There's a trend of slow-mo. No. So one of our friends in particular is raging about the overuse of slow-mo.
That's another thing that makes video easier, though. If you shoot everything in slow-mo and then slow it down, like you need barely any of it to look.
But then,
be good.
I think that's something we moved on from in the some of our free films.
Well, because it's low energy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you work out that it does. It can be really impactful, like in certain, if it's not used often.
Little sections, but like slow-mo dancing. All of it slow-mo can be very, very low energy.
All of our dancing used to be slow-mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all like, which, it has a vibe, which is fine.
But now we're just keeping it
we
mad.
like a bit more energy to it now.
I think they're the best videos, the ones with energy, though.
Yeah.
Like, to keep me interested.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Funny, like, when videographers that I work with send me the video, they're like, oh, here's the highlight thing. Honestly, it takes a lot of my attention to like fully watch just 2 minutes, even though I shot that wedding. It's just like,
there you go. You're just like, oh, this is so boring. Like,
unless it's like,
I know.
Because like with a lot of like the people I work with, they do all that slow-mo, like cinematic stuff. And I keep telling them, like, mate, you just get away from that. Like, there's such a like, you're missing like this massive gap of people that I'm sure want like really high energy, like fast cut move, like, and then slow it down at the speeches, kind of like, go dushy kind of vibe.
It doesn't have to be just like slow-mo, serious music. Like I'm really like ADD and get so bored. So like I like to use something like really funny at the beginning, just so it's like, oh, this is different. Like, what's this all about?
Yeah.
You know, like put something like funny speech or something like right at the start, and then it's not just like a venue shot and then, oh, she's getting her makeup, you know, like chronological. It's just like, okay, cool, you know, like got to keep the energy up.
The styled shoot type video is also kind of in at the moment, isn't it? You know, where you kind of like have the bride like looking off to the side and then she's like to the the camera, you know, like she's in a perfume advert, and it's just like I was joking to Laura, we should do one like that, and just like I'll just get someone to speak French over the top of it, you know. Like, just seems like so, like nothing to do with a wedding or what a wedding is about in any way whatsoever. It's all about just like, I'm pretty. Like, it's just like, oh, next. Like,
I know, like, I think we're all the same. Like, we just want like wedding with like soul in it, right? Like, we want to find that, and like when people are like, "What's your ideal couple?" or whatever, it's just like it's not even the couple. It's just like I just need everyone to be like that. Like everyone just have a great time and have fun and be there for the bride and groom or couple or whatever. Rather than just, you know, everyone's just, I don't know, trying to do these like trendy kind of things.
Or like question we get asked all the time, like, where's your favourite wedding venue? Where's your favourite venue? And I'm like, I couldn't give a shit. You know, like I really genuinely like, are the people cool? Are they really nice? Do they really care about each other? Like, good. It's all that matters, isn't it, really?
Yeah, if you had a wedding on a park bench, you know, but they were all like awesome, beautiful, amazing.
That's what makes a good film and a good photo, though. Like people with... Like, it's people that let their guard down. That's what I think, you know? Like, and it's quite unusual. I don't think it's that normal, is it? To be not that aware of, or not different with cameras in your face. Like, especially with video, if you can find couples who will just, like be emotional and you're there and you get to capture it. Like, I think that's really cool.
I mean, I think that's like 90% of the job, isn't it? Just like
making it okay,
getting them to be okay with you being alive.
Do you shoot like quite close, like, you know, with photos like with 35 and all that? Now, do you shoot further away?
So further away,
yeah, we shoot with a 50. So
photos we were always on 35, and
because you could be in and out. Not like, you know, we wouldn't stay in their face. Like you'd come in, you get a picture, and not always. We still use 50 or 85 when we're doing pictures.
But you can't, in and out.
You can't do that in the speeches all the time, can you? Just like writing, though we've seen it. Right in a 24 like click, and then like off, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
So 50
no, we like a comfortable distance. You know, like kind of like half a room away from someone. You know, like they've got their personal space. I've captured it, you know, as I want enough room around them, and you know, you can compose it. But
is like the 50 your main like go-to focal length?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, most of the day is on a 50.
Yeah, other than the ceremony speeches and sometimes the dance floor.
And that's just so we can, like, speeches be further away. You know, we'll have an 85 on, or
and on a dance floor maybe an 85, just so you can make it look busier.
Be a bit closer cropped. But
it makes it easier as well when you like editing, because all the kind of shots match in a way. You know,
that's another pet peeve of ours with like wedding videos where they're like super wide and then it'll be someone's face.
You know, it'll be like that one random shot that's like their safe angle at the front of the ceremony, or like the back corner of the speeches, and it's just like
the whole room.
You're like the shit angle that they've just like abandoned a camera, F16 or whatever, or just an iPhone, or
they're in it. There's like 4 tripods in it. You know, just
the
like
photographer's shoulders.
Honestly, I sometimes wonder like why videographers do that. Like especially when they, like the ceremonies that I do, when you've got them, they put a tripod at the back of the aisle, and you're like, dude, I know your frame, I can see this lens, and I know that on a 35 or even a 50, I'm in it, you're in it. Like all of that footage is unusable, but all you've done is made it really hard for me to like I'm trying to like move in a certain angle, so then that tripod's not in the back of that photos.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I always ask them, like, no, we have to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, because it's like the safe angle. But then
there's nothing safe about it. Like,
no, exactly. If they've got it, they're going to use it in the film by accident. They're going to need to use it. And it looks so shit.
Yeah.
So just make it pretty. Like, just have 3 angles or whatever, but just make sure they're all, like, cute. You want them to look good.
Yeah, exactly. And don't have us in it. Like, the minute you're in it, that's it. You've killed. Like, it's sometimes I include like a videographer
having
in the photo,
like a, you could, yeah, exactly. But
rare,
like, you could have a photographer in a film. Like, the people know that someone photographed it, and normally, like, a photographer will go in and out. You know, they're not just standing like in one spot. But like, being in your own film is so cringe to me.
Especially if you just stood there. If you just stood there on a tripod and it's just like,
no,
you planned this out. You planned this out for your tripod to be in there, where you're going to stand
so
the whole.
weird.
Yeah.
There's like we'll often have like in the middle of the aisle we'll have a camera, but we have it low so that like any kind of like photographer or videographer is below is hidden behind the heads of the people in the pews.
Yeah. It's just like, I do find like, I'm sure like there's so many photographers that like annoy you though as well. But I'll be one of those because in the reception, I'm quite close to like the couple. Like I sit and hover around the head table.
The top table. That's what I do when I'm photographing. Like, I get it. I think it's good. I don't
think I'd mind.
I think it's been
I do
good.
I duck and then I pop up.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Popping up at the moment that you want as well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing with videos is that like that's why there's multiple angles. You know, like it's fine. Like like we plan for it.
Yeah.
And I think coming from photography, it's like, no, I get you. Like I can see what you do. Like it's fair enough.
Yeah.
Like you work around it.
I don't think you'd be in it. I feel like you wouldn't be in it.
No.
Because I normally I'd shoot down the side of the top table.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like on the from the slide-ons,
Sides,
I'm always conscious though. I do always tell the video like if I'm in the way or if they tell me, I do tell them like,
well,
you tell me and I'll move away.
Yeah.
We always say to photographers just like, like feel free to just move through any of the angles. Just try not to be in all 3 of them at once.
Yeah. Like, or stand there in front of there.
Really,
I've
it's
done
not
that sometimes.
standing. Yeah, standing.
I mean, everyone does that. I know I've done that.
I've done that unconsciously, like something. Like unconsciously, just literally, and then I get a tap on my shoulder. And videos, I was like, mate, that's like the angle. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
But I always think like when you're photographing, like, and you go in and like, you're like, well, there's a tripod there. There's a tripod there, and there's a tripod there, and you're like, where the fuck can I go? Where I'm not going to be. It feels like, but I mean, the whole point of it is so that you can be in any of them at any time. Like that's why there's 3. But
for us anyway, because like we try and make every angle look quite nice. So like you would go to any of the angles.
One of them can be sacrificed at any moment. That's the idea. But then to you as a photographer, you're like, oh God, I have to avoid all these angles. Like, it's horrible, isn't it? I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
Just like being in the way, or I'm going to look like an idiot in this film.
Well, hopefully we're not in any of the films, but could you imagine? It's like,
cringe.
I've had like, this is like separate. I mean, what is a videographer? It's actually a content creator. And it was the last wedding I did, it was in December. And I spoke to that content creator and I was just like, oh, you're here for the decor company, cool. Like, what do you do? Like, do you do this full time? Blah, blah, be nice. And I'm like, look, let me know, but just try not to get in my way. But you can do what you want. I don't really give a shit. Yeah. But the bride walked down the aisle and then like he tracked her on the side. He tracked her down the aisle, right? So me and the actual main videographer are in the munda, basically, by the groom. Like I always like to get this shot of like getting the groom plus the bride. So there's like context. I do shoot with my 85, but then it's more like 35, and then you're getting both.
Yeah.
And he was in all my shots, and then he hid. And so what he thought he hid was like this aisleway had like these sort of vases, like with big bunchy flowers, and he like ducked down. And then oh mate, I was livid after that. But it wasn't only me. The priest noticed it. The guy doing the music noticed it. The videographers like, what the heck's going on? And then I spoke to him. I said, mate, I told you not to like get in the way. I go, you're clearly in the way. And he said, no. He goes, I ducked between the flowers. I said, do you call this ducking? And you could see him. He's looking right back into me, into my lens. And I'm like, look at all these photos. And then I just said to him, I said, mate, I'm going to deliver you with them in there.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit.
There.
And I go, you were there. I didn't. I cropped him out a couple of them. But some of them, I was just like, you're there. You're in the way. And he was just like, no, you can give me the photos. He was like, I know how to edit photos. I can get rid of it using AI. I said, no, I don't do that. Go, why would I do that? And he was just like, you don't need to get so rude and this, that, and the other. I said, mate, I'm normally like calm. Like, I don't mind.
Mate, the rudeness has happened. Like, you know.
Yeah. I'm like, everyone's got things to do. Everyone's trying to hunt for content and do all of this shit now.
It's like
and it's fine. Like, I
though.
get it. But it's just like, you can't do that.
No.
Like, it was crazy.
Obviously, you're going to be in everyone's shot. Weird.
Yeah.
This
I've
is
never
the fear
experienced that
of
in
the
my life.
content creators, though, isn't it? That they'll just always be in the worst part.
Yeah. My go-to with all of that, and my go-to line to all of them is like, do what you want. But if you are in the way, I go and I click you in the photo. I'm delivering the photo with you in there. And honestly, but I say it in a nicer way, and they're just like, they're never in anything.
Yeah.
You know?
They keep themselves out of the way. Yeah. This is the trouble with like editing now and like AIing people out of stuff, that it's like, oh, you can get rid of me. You can get rid of me out of anything. It's like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. And it doesn't always work either. It just depends where you are. If you're with like a bunch of guests and you're blocking them with like loads of people, no AI is helping you there. It's not like something that I could clone out or like, you know.
Exactly.
Like it's not that easy.
Because if you want to do that to like 800 photos or whatever.
Exactly. It's painstaking using AI. Like I barely touch it. Like I'm still trying to get it right in camera and everything.
Yeah.
But, like,
I think,
save a lot of time.
I think this is the problem with like content creators, isn't it? Because they're like, there are a new lot of people who aren't used to weddings.
Yeah, just the choreography
and
of the whole thing.
And like, you know, like photographers and videographers that have been going, you know, like over 6 months, have you know, normally learned to work with each other.
Yeah.
Whereas they've kind of, you know, explode onto the scene, and there's so many new people doing it, and because they're all on the phone, so they can't really get any distance.
True.
You know, they're just all, this is my vision, they're just all swarming around everyone all the time. And like people keep posting like everywhere, like, oh, I really rate this wedding content creator. And so, like, I keep being on the lookout, and we're like, oh, have a look. I want to see a good one. I've still not seen one. They're like, this one's great, and I'm looking. I'm like, you got eyes, mate.
There's
like,
got to be one.
This is shit.
There's a good one somewhere.
This is clearly shit.
But it's quick. That's all people care about.
But you know what? That's what I was going to say. That's where you guys, because of your previews, can win. Because say you're a couple, you have a good relationship, and they say, hey, Pete, Laura, I'm gonna look for a content creator, and you're like, actually, within like 48 hours, I'm gonna deliver you like a 1 minute preview. And I'll be like, save your money and like use it towards a honeymoon or something like that. And they'll probably be like, actually, it was going to cost me like, now some of them are like 650, 750 and above, right? And so like, you're
they're
like,
not cheap.
save that money.
I'm still charging $1,000 now as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so like, just to take phone footage. And so because you do these previews and that's already in your workflow, whereas I reckon other videographers might be like, God, now I have to start doing previews. It's a whole nother ball ache. I wanted to just relax after the wedding. Because you've always been doing that, I think you'll always come up on top, and you won't probably, touch wood, you probably won't be at a wedding with a content creator because...
Yeah, so far we've not done one with a content creator.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean,
I'm sure they'll one
times
day.
like, you know, like the...
Because they want it for speed. Like, that's the main thing, right? They're not capturing anything that you're not. They're capturing what you're capturing, but in, like you said, in a shittier way.
Exactly,
So like, all they're doing is delivering speed. And like, if you're delivering something in 48 hours, like I think most reasonable people would wait rather than just shell money out at like, you know, at content creator.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I mean, because like they're trying to do the same job as all of us, but like in a deliberately worse way. I don't understand it. I don't understand. It's just like, you know, we're all trying to capture things like really beautifully, and like, in addition to us, they're going to get someone that captures the same thing shittily, and get in everyone's way and pay them. And it's just like, but like, no, but speed is massive, isn't it? You know, but
I think it depends on the couple as well.
It is the old man in me, isn't it? Clearly.
No, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
They're better off like, I don't know, having some sort of app or Dropbox and being like, can you guys just like, everyone at the wedding just airdrop me thing, and they could stitch something just to shit together from everyone else.
Yes,
like, it's fine.
Way better.
Yeah. At least it's like all your friends having a good time with selfies and all that stuff. So you've got, if you wanted content, you've got it all there because everyone's on their phones anyway. There's no such thing as like, an unplugged wedding anymore. If it is, then it's rare.
Some of those guests might accidentally take the pictures in the forbidden aspect ratio of landscape, though, so they would be unusable.
Oh, yeah. No one takes pictures in landscape now. Be fine.
No,
I do. Even on my phone, I'm like,
you do. You will till the end. I refuse.
I don't know. Like, actually, funny enough, like it took a long time for me to turn my camera to like portrait.
Yeah.
Like, what you're saying, like you trying things. So like I did that last year, and actually some of my portraits, I'm like, you know what? I really enjoyed it.
I like portrait.
Vertical.
I don't like
really
portrait.
I like it vertical, but I think when you're doing like documentary photography,
I know you can't
tell more of the story. Like it's really hard to get. It can only be a portrait.
Yeah, portrait or details. That's
portrait
it.
Shoots, I think like quite often we'll end up with 50-50. I've no objection to turn the camera like sideways if I feel like it suits it. Because like, two people fit really nicely in a vertical frame, but
documentary,
any kind of like thing that's showing context is really hard, doesn't it? Like, that's a big tree. I couldn't fit it all in.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true. Even like now, because of the trend, like I've started to do some on-camera flash stuff, and I've enjoyed it. It's been free. Yeah. Like I did this shoot in Paris, and instead of setting my light up and stuff, and because they wanted that anyway, the on-camera kind of look. Yeah. It was like I could go anywhere, and I'm like, this is great.
So easy.
Normally I'm whacking a light stand into the fire extinguisher or trapping myself into a door.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I've got my one camera, one flash, and I'm just
boom.
Yeah. And then just this week, I've ordered the new Sony 28-70 f2 because I'm like, this lens is like everything. If I could shoot a wedding with one camera, because I shoot so many smaller ceremonies. Man, it'd be amazing. I'm just going to have the 85 on my hip all the time. And literally 95% will be on this one lens. I mean, all I do is like 28-85 anyway. That's like my main go-to now. It used to be 35, but since doing this podcast, I was like, I've changed things up a bit and I've enjoyed it. But I think like, because everyone, when we first started when we first started photography, like if you went to any workshop, it's just like, no, what do you mean zoom lens? Throw it in the bin.
Yeah,
like, I remember Ben Christmas saying, tape it up to 35 and do not move it.
But they're good now.
Yeah, they're really good now.
Like zoom lenses used to be like f4, and it's like, no, they don't look the same as a prime, But like, if you can get like the look you want with one and never have to change lens, like you're going to get so many more shots, surely.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I can't. Look, he's like,
you can't. No.
I don't understand.
No, I like, because like we've all got zoom lenses, but like I love prime lenses so much, like in the reception, like when they're inside, it's winter, it's all a bit dark, and it's just like, I can still shoot if I'm able to go down to like 1.2, 1.4, you know, like I can still get some like usable stuff.
Flash is like a very worst case scenario.
Yeah. But like now cameras are so good, like 12,800 ISO.
I know.
Like, great.
This is it. They're so good. The technology,
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I'm thinking more when I'm filming and like, I don't want to go to like 6,400. I mean, I will, but
you want to keep it.
It does get a bit, you lose a bit of the colour quality, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I permanently, because my weddings are always like indoors, I permanently live at like 3,200 ISO anyway. So like to me, bumping up to 6,400 is not really a big deal. But like I live in that 3,200 space like, all the time. I'd be shocked if my camera went down to 200 or 100 ISO. I'm like, we're actually outside. This is good. We're not in some like another hotel, but
3,200 I'm happy with. But I mean, if you're at that at like 1.6, then at 2.8 you're at like 12,800.
You are.
Yeah.
But like F2 Sony lens.
Report back when you get your lens.
Yeah, I will. I think it's coming this week.
You might love it. Yeah.
I've only ordered it because, when I do the smaller events for like Indian weddings when it's multi-day. So my thing is like the main day is where I want to do all the like creative and like stuff like that. So, but when I get asked to do the smaller events, I always rock in with like my 24-70 2.8, the GM2.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, keep it thing, and there is something about when I put my 28mm on, suddenly I'm like more ninja. I'm more like duck in, dive in, looking for more things.
Getting in there.
Yeah, really getting stuck in. Whereas when I was with the Zoom and I tried that in the beginning of a bridal prep or whatever, I was rubbish. I was just like, no, I need to like, I was so tuned into like the primes So
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a go again. I'm going to see. This lens seems really good. All the reviews I've read are like amazing.
I think it's definitely something to be said for like minimal equipment though, isn't there? Yeah. You can just rock it up with one lens and shoot the whole day. And, you know, if you feel more chilled,
Yeah.
you're not like carrying a shitload of lenses
do you think
around.
we all do that? Like get bogged down in like the equipment and they're like, oh, I need this one for this. I need this for this. You know, and like really it stops you thinking about the camera and then you're just like observing more.
Yeah. Just set whatever limits of the camera and just like, get what you can within that.
Yeah.
It's like me trying to get venue shots with a 50mm because I've left my camera bag inside and I'm just like, okay,
That
I guess I'm
happens all
walking
all the way that way. So quicker than walking back to the car to find your lens though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dotcast from 9 Dots. We'd love for your help to grow the 9 Dots podcast, so feel free to hit that like, drop us a comment, or share the podcast on any of the platforms that you use. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next Dotcast episode coming soon, and in the meantime, check out 9-dots.co if you want to find out more about membership, or you want to learn how 9 Dots can help you or your business achieve the goals that you want. Get in touch.